Hey, y'all, welcome back to In the Blind podcast. My name is Eric Gunderson. This is my co-host, Mr. Stephen Barker Lyles.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
We're coming to you live from Riley Green's Duck Blind down here in Midtown. Actually, we're not live. We're recording this, but you can think it's live if you want to. Today, we're joined by an artist that we're really excited about getting to talk to today. I've been a fan of his for quite some time. Comes from a world that I think Stephen and I are both very familiar with in different ways, but without further ado, welcome, Mr. Matthews.
Yeah, well,
But I'm going to try to get your last name right.
You can go for it, man. Have a go.
Ntlele.
That's perfect.
Perfect?
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hail from South Africa, right?
Originally from South Africa, yeah. Yeah, so I've been in the States now for 10 years. So it's been a wild ride, man.
Yeah. Where did you land here in the States when you came over?
The dirty South, North Carolina,
30 South.
Charlotte. So it's good, man. It was a bit of a culture shock because the first time I was in the States, I was in LA. Then went back home, and then like a few years later when I actually moved here, ended up moving to Charlotte, I was like, this is not the America, not because it's just different, I don't know.
Totally.
But I grew up on a farm and so it was kind of like, okay. But in your head, when you come to the States, when you watch movies, you have,
what do you think it'd all be like New York or what?
Yeah, well, your headspace, you don't know that, hey, it's actually the same.
Yeah.
I mean, there's small towns and it's, the same shopping, it's same people, just different vibe, but yeah.
Why
Nice.
and why Charlotte? How did that come about?
So work opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how it goes, and then you don't. But it was good. I really fell in love with the city. But what happened was, I actually live in like an art district part of the city, because I was like trying to figure out where I was gonna live and stuff, and it was like late one Friday night, driving around, and I end up near the city and going to the small district. There's a small club there called Snug Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a live music venue, but it's like the diviest place you'll ever walk into. I mean, like, I don't know, there's crazy stuff on the walls. It was like a weird, I walked in and I said, found my people. Okay. So it's cool.
That's awesome.
Mixed, it's a cultural melting pot, little music scene, but it's a good vibe.
Nice.
Yeah, I grew up in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like that whole kind of art district, Plaza Midwood
Yeah.
area, like Noda, all that.
Yeah.
Like that was like the part of town we didn't go to.
Exactly.
Like, when I was growing up. Like anywhere past like Greer Heights, you're like, okay, we stay away from this part of town. And then now it's like the trendy, cool place, expensive
vibe.
houses. It's awesome.
No, it's got a cool vibe
It's been
now.
cool to see kind of just the, the life that they brought back to that area and just that part of town. It's pretty
No, man,
cool.
I love it. It's chill, but it's got a vibe. Not Nashville vibe, but
It's different, yeah. It's different. And then to go from LA back to probably South Africa, then to come back and land in Charlotte, it's culture shock. LA to North Carolina,
Yeah.
it's totally different. Yeah. So even that, what were you expecting in North Carolina?
Well, I mean, I think you assume everyone's the same,
Right.
Just in your head. But I think I've come to realize that it feels like every state in America is its own country, per se, like in terms of culture or like how people approach life or, whatever viewpoints, but more so just in how life happens, Yeah. And then obviously then you go to center city, then you get kind of like the same kind of vibe. But I mean, in general, but South Africa's kind of pretty much the same, I think, in terms of the cities tend to be more melting pot. When further out you go, you kind of get what that state is really about, whether you go to Montana, it's crazy hunting, but it's good, man. I love the States. It's man, I'm grateful, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
I really am. I'm grateful to meet the people I get to meet, and everyone's got a story, and one thing everyone connects with is their struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the bridge. They may be different, may not understand each other, but when you start talking, you realize, okay, we understand, because everyone understands that thing called pain.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of doing some research on you and following your story just since the Elevation days. And I was telling you a story earlier. I grew up in Charlotte. My dad was the worship pastor, church like 5,000-6,000 people back then. So like it was like almost church famous back then. And, like he kind of got out of it and was just like searching for a place where he could serve and do something. So like he had met randomly, I guess, Stephen Furtick from Elevation at the Levine Center because they lived in the neighborhood right across from it. And the Levine Center is like a little senior center for, the older people in that area to go, they have their events.
Some of my homies, some of my
shuffleboard,
that's what I'm talking about.
Anyways, he got involved with that church and started singing in the worship team, and I'd travel back and forth and go to kind of like the prayer breakfasts and meetings and stuff. And so, my dad ended up, kind of stepping away from that and realizing that wasn't really his calling anymore. But just to watch the growth of that church was incredible. And then you played such a big, role in that early on, at least in what I was listening to. And I fell in love with your voice and started to kind of dive into your story. And when you talk about struggle and your upbringing, I mean, I feel like just the little I know about you, you had kind of a rough go of it in your upbringing and just being where you're from in South Africa with all the Apartheid and everything else. So I'd love to hear you kind of dive into that and kind of, if you're willing.
I'm always willing. It's so interesting. Always compare growing up in South Africa in the 80s, 90s, late 80s. I'm born 86, so shouldn't have said that, people. I'm trying to look younger.
You're right. We
were born in 84.
Okay, so we're the same. Yeah, man. So like, I kind of, when I hear stories, when I talk to like gentlemen here and they talk about the 60s in America, that I can kind of relate. So I was like the first black kid in my elementary school ever.
Wow.
So that would have been, 89, 80, 1990. So it was still illegal then because Nelson Mandela only came out of prison in 1990. So in a small town, Rustenburg, it's a small mining town. Grew up in the township, which a township would kind of the laws of segregation, and so black folk had to live in certain areas. So I grew up in a township called Klabane, which is outside of the city. But then my mother wanted to take me to an all-white kindergarten called Stepping Stones.
How'd you get in?
She ruffled some feathers, man.
You were like the one guy.
The one. I was the one because the principal wanted to really make a stand, and
that's cool.
Maybe she was saved. I don't know. I don't really know the nitty gritty, but so from a young age, I always felt like, man, I'm getting pushed into these places. I'm like, and it was hard, but not from the kids necessarily, but from the parents more so. Yeah. Kids don't really. I mean, when you're young, you don't really. And until the parents say, hey, and then, but so it started there. So I think from a young age, I think you can imagine what that's like. And then obviously poverty and that kind of stuff, going through that and trying to figure out parents not together. And then, it's all the same normal things that everyone goes through. Right. In America, I can go to places today, outside, it's the same, black, white. Suffering doesn't discriminate at all. But just sometimes, the powers that be really have a go at it. But so then, oh man, I remember this one time I was 10 years old. I had a great friend, Greg. Greg was 13, white dude. And we lived ended up moving like near the train tracks in this flat or whatever. My mother was a midwife and whatever. We were right next to the police station and stuff. Crazy time, man. But so he's like, hey, you got to go to the town pool with me, his friends and whatever. He used to have a bike, and I'd stay, what are those bars on the bikes? I'd be on the bars, take me back from school because like a far walk to school. But one day he's like, hey, meet me at the town pool. I was like, man, I don't think I'm allowed to go to the town pool. Like, what do you mean? Like, I mean, this time I should be allowed in the town pool. But he's like, no, man, we're going to be there. Okay, cool. He couldn't. So I had to walk to the town pool, tell my mum I'm going to the town pool. She's like, hey, well, be careful. Get to the town pool, some old man, it's like, I don't know, 50 cents to get in. He looks at me like, what are you doing, boy? At this point in time, I'm 10 years old and, I'm a bit, hey, man, I'm championing the cause. I'm fighting, I'm a freedom fighter, whatever. 10-year-old kid, whatever, young and dumb. But anyway, so I'm fighting with this like 50-year-old man to let me in, but it's like a glass, one of those things. I'm, hey man, you got to. So he finally let me in. I'm thinking, I told this. I'm a young kid, Yeah. But little did I know, old mate had a plan. He made some calls to the the young buggers in there. And so I'm walking in looking for my friend for like 5 minutes, and like this kid just comes to me, hey, what are you doing here? Da 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 da. And you know, have a little scuffle, get surrounded, get jumped by. So I'm a 10-year-old kid, 18-year-old kids, you know, just have a good go at me. I got a few in. Nice. I got a good solid in for a 10-year-old kid, you know. But yeah, don't remember what happened next because I was blacked out and whatever. And I don't know who took me home. I think Greg came to find me or something. But like that's just the gist of like some of the stories, you know. And then, oh Lord, this one was actually a crazy one. A friend of mine at school like invites me to go to his house after school, and he's like, "Yeah, man." So he's like, "Okay, cool." But that morning, what had happened was I was riding my bike to school, and this man just literally stops the car at the traffic light, dude, and he just gets out the car and starts swearing at me. I don't know what I did. I must have done something wrong, some derogatory terms and stuff like that. And man, I'm shaken up, man. This like he was in my face, like wanted to beat me, pushed me over, threw my bike over, whatever. Da, da, da. You know, and I get to school and whatever. But that same day, that's when my friend said, "Oh well, come to my house," you know, all that. So I go to his house after school. And his mum's there, like, oh, great meal. Yo, you guys play, da da da. Cool, you know, 5:30 hits, you know. Hi, dad comes in. Guess who his dad was?
No way.
I promise you. I promise you. I can't make this stuff up.
Make it up.
No, I can't. And I remember I'm sitting like on a couch like this,
gosh.
and I look at this man walking, and he just looks at me.
It was like a movie scene, man.
And he just walked, didn't say a word at all. And I think, man, lack of a better word, whatever you believe, I think God orchestrates those moments. Not necessarily to make the guy feel bad, but I think to open his eyes to something. And I hope, I've never actually talked to him ever. I think that was a defining moment in his life to realize, you know, and people always wonder, hey man, why don't you carry like a chip on your shoulder? I mean, I can go darker. These are the light ones. But I've had white folks in my life that have helped me my whole life. You know, I was in church, and when we went to this church, yet again, the only tokens. AOG, Rustenburg.
Said tokens.
But this guy, Uncle John Thompson, comes to my mother and says, hey, you know, where's dad or whatever? No, well, da-da-da, tells the story. And then she, you know, he says, well, you know, I want to hang out, you know, with your son, like every Saturday. I want to take him out and, you know, we'll have a meal. I just want to chat to him. I want to make sure that he has a father figure in his life.
Wow.
Every Saturday, Uncle John, he would come pick me up. And he was like very well established in community banker or something like that. And had kids a little older than me. And he made me believe that I could make something of myself, you know. And so just in the same way with people, there is a reality of hate and all that, but there's also a reality of love. And so you can't negate the two. They'll always be there, yin and yang, whatever you want to call it. And I think sometimes when people say, well, this doesn't exist. No, obviously, we're not stupid. But there are a lot of people that don't see things that way. And I'm the man I am today because I had a father figure, Uncle Johnny, for like 5 years that would spend time with me, take me out, go on trips and stuff like that. So I'm grateful. And that was long-winded. But
no, I mean, that's an incredible story. And how did that kind of shape your early days as far as music?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same.
Yeah.
Was that kind of something that you sought out as an escape? Was it something that somebody brought to you? Was it, I mean, I know that you were involved in choir and stuff in church and whatnot, but.
Yeah, man, I mean, my earliest memories, I guess it's like, you know, it's at the back of the church and seeing the organ player, seeing the drummer, and you're just sitting there watching, and it's like, you know, you don't know what's going on. And there was this guy that would play electric guitar, I always say. It looked like a Strat. I bet you it wasn't a Strat.
Probably an Ibanez
something from China. I don't know what it was.
China.
Hey, man, the church was probably the size of this. So, you know, so I in my head, I'm like, man, you know, black and white Strat, and this dude is playing it, man. You know, and I remember, but I never wanted, I was probably still young then, like 5. But when I was 12, man, I watched this movie called Camp Nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
If you could look it up.
Seen the movie.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
So this kid there, like, I don't know what he was a violinist or something. Then they kind of go to some camp. I don't know, they pull some switcheroo thing, no parents, and take the money and go to camp. And then they buy all these toys and stuff. And this kid buys a electric guitar, buys a Blue Jackson, Royal Blue Jackson, man. I was like, and then he plays the American national anthem in it, you know, like the whole solo thing. It was that moment I was literally like, man, I want to play guitar.
That's cool.
I can't explain it. Like, I never thought, you know, I could sing and stuff. I was always the kid that, hey, go sing Aladdin at the school thing. But I never thought I could actually learn an instrument. And, man, the passion. I don't know where it comes from. I actually, even to this day, I feel like, hey, did God put that in me? But from that moment, I remember just begging my mother for a guitar for like 6 months. Please, I don't have money. And then she like scrambled up something, got this beat down classical guitar, you know, your first, you know, those ones I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I always say, made out of plywood, whatever it's made out of.
Definitely not a solid top.
Yeah. Yeah, man, and I think she got sick and tired of hearing me clang, 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 clang. And she went to a technical college, so it'd be like a community college, yeah. And my mother is pretty incredible. So she went there, just, you know, just like she did when I was 4 years old. Went to the music department, hey, can you help out my kid? You know, we don't.
Incredible.
She met one of the professors and she said, well, you know, I finish at like 7. If he comes in every other week, you know, I can give him a free lesson.
Dang.
You know, our lesson was 5 miles from our house and I'd walk, you know. So I got lessons from her and classical guitar, which my reading's terrible even to this day. But that's when it started, man.
That's really
and
incredible.
I mean, South Africa has just so many crazy musical influences.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very like a mixed culture. So like, you know, guitar, obviously listening to traditional African music, but listening to, you know, rock, listening to Toto. Yeah. Man, I love Toto. You know why? Doom, 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 doom.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if it related to that, but yeah.
No, it did. Well, there was
I didn't want to assume.
And then I was like, who the heck are these dudes? And I'd like, you know, but that was like music I wasn't allowed to listen to.
Right.
But my first CD was, I think this was my first CD. Petra Praise.
Yes.
Wow.
Petra Praise 2. Rock and roll. Yeah. And they're actually really good band.
They were
great.
Yeah, last couple of years I started really checking them. I was like, these guys were actually good players. Like regardless of Christian rock, they were actually a really solid rock band, you know, in the day. So I got into rock and stuff, and then church, you kind of listen to that. But my dad would always play like old school stuff, old school gospel stuff, Memphis style kind of soul. In the car we're driving. What else would he play? A lot of Michael Bolton.
Wow.
And so I just realized, oh, that's why I kind of sing like that. Yeah. That Bolton belt, man. Yeah. You know,
that's
so
fun.
Yeah, so broad spectrum of music. And then when I got older in high school, then it was like Battle of the Bands and stuff. Right. You know, Creed, Limp Bizkit. Yeah, dude, because
we're just talking about Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. No, because I went to like a sports school. I went to Pretoria Boys High, which is like a prep, like a rugby school, like a really...
Okay. You play rugby?
Yeah, so I played rugby all my life, yeah.
Yeah, you should. I mean,
man, I had my rugby jersey in the car. I was going to put it on, and I was like, nah, I don't know.
That's
Springbok, cool. Yeah, Springbok rugby jersey. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, so that's kind of been my influences. And obviously church, like, you know, Christian music, it's kind of like that, you know, grunge, rocky kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sonically.
Right.
I'd say that's what it is, right? Like Christian music today, kind of like.
I would
or like
so,
in those times, don't you think?
There's a lot of different, I mean, I feel like Christian music's really fun right now because there's so many different styles.
So many different styles. But like in the day there.
Oh, back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day there, it was kind of like a rocky kind of vibe.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, especially at least when I was in middle school, high school, like the
Jars of Clay, man.
Jars of Clay, Delirious.
Delirious.
Yeah.
What was like Caban's Call.
Yeah.
That was kind of
more Chevelle was kind of Christian. I mean,
yeah. So I think, so that I think shaped my ear for a long time, and I never really listened to anything else for a long time. And I think maybe the last 5 years, when I was like, hey, I really want to get back into playing, got tired of the CG
right,
and E and whatever for a bit, and I just got into like 60s, 70s, man, funk and soul, like hardcore, like deep,
right,
like deep, and old school R&B and stuff, and got a guitar teacher, and like I was like, oh, there's something about this, and then I started remembering, oh man, when I was in the car, with my dad, I remember, you know, and I was like, man, I've always loved this stuff like crazily, but I didn't know why. There's really something special about like when you're really young, like what gets in your ears, because it stays there. You know, it stays in you.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, if you get me talking, dude, I'll talk for like 2 hours straight.
Well,
So just stop me every time. You know,
no,
but
it's very
awesome,
intriguing and interesting. So please don't stop.
Yeah, but actually, is country music's really pretty big in South Africa.
Really? Like who?
Well, I don't know their names, but
but like you were hearing it.
No, the sound, definitely. Yeah. We call it Boere musiek.
Really?
Boere, like farm music.
Okay.
So like Afrikaans people, like in South Africa. So like that probably really compared to like Southern culture.
But like like people from there doing their version of country music.
Yeah. So if you listen to any like Boere musiek or whatever, you'll be like, oh man, that sounds just like country music.
Okay.
But they weren't playing like George Strait on the radio over there, or.
Yeah, that people love country music over there.
Okay.
Massive.
I assume now so much, but no, I didn't know if like, when you were growing up
in the
too.
day, people like they literally call it Boere musiek. It's like
what does that mean? What's the translation?
Well, Boere is like farmer.
Okay.
Like a boer is like a farmer.
Okay.
And musiek is like music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's I mean they
farm music.
Yeah, well they wouldn't call like a boer, like it'd be called, hey, you're a boer, it means like you're a farmer.
Yeah,
hey,
okay.
You know, but it's like not
Is it like
it's not a bad term? No, it's a good term. It's
like when we refer to someone as like a country boy.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
Exactly. There we go. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
What's a little more like redneck? What's a little farther than a country boy? Like almost.
Boer.
That's it. That's just all encompassing. It covers it all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's white trash? Would that be? Do they have a term for that? Or just like a trashy person, like, but it's still kind of a redneck, but a little worse.
Man, I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's a word.
Yeah.
I gotta call my friend would tell me tons, because he's probably gonna be like, dude,
like a hillbilly.
Yeah, there are some words. I just can't remember.
Yeah.
Man, it's usually where you live.
Okay.
So like, there's a place called Krugersdorp where that's a spot, or like Danville in Pretoria, like that's a spot.
So if you're from Danville, like what do they call you? Is it Danny?
I don't know.
Danny boy?
I don't know what. I can't remember what it is, but it's not like a bad term. But it's like it's a
more
funny
hillbilly
term.
kind of vibe.
I can't remember what it is. But yeah, it's definitely.
That's funny.
That's why I say, man, wherever you go in the world, it's just similar but different.
Yeah,
You're like,
I agree. I completely agree.
You're like, yeah, okay, I see. Oh, yeah, all right. You know, so
that's fun.
That's one thing I've always hated about like Americans in particular that travel overseas, and they're like, they try to bring their American way and their mindset with them. I'm like, listen, it's not really all that different anywhere else. But if you come into it with this very just, kind of got your blinders on, just like my way's the best way, like you're never going to appreciate the other culture and see it for what it is. And then you really won't ever recognize how similar we actually all are, just because you're focused on the fact that you do it better, or you think that Americans are the best because you've been taught that in school as a kid. It's like, oh, it's probably not actually the truth.
Man.
Eric and I spent a month in Germany, and all of our shows were playing to like German hillbillies, or I don't know what you
exactly.
But you wouldn't think that, but
you could tell they're there. You could tell, definitely. And then you go when you go deep in the cities like Berlin, it's like kind of fully like European whatever. But when you go on the outskirts, you go, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just like us.
We're just spending 6 weeks driving around, or however long it was, or a month. It's like, it's mainly farmland. It's mainly the countryside. Exactly. And granted, their countryside looks a lot different than ours. It's a lot prettier. The architecture is very similar. They just have random buildings and barns just thrown everywhere. At least they pay attention to the historical side of
history,
maintaining that. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think we could learn a lot from.
And they drink a lot.
That. They do.
But if someone's got an F-250, you're like, whoa, you went through a lot to get that one out here in the middle. How'd you get that out here?
I know, man. Okay, when I first came here, it's scary when you see the size difference of like cars in America. I can't explain it, man, because I was like, I was really shocked. I couldn't believe like someone actually drives that as their normal car. Like we have
driving monster trucks.
Yeah, we have trucks.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's like the smaller one. It's smaller than what do you guys have here? You have a Ranger? Is a Ranger?
Yeah, like a Ranger is pretty much the smallest one we got.
Okay, so that's like
Chevy Canyon.
What's that little Nissan? There's the little Nissan ones too.
So the Ranger's like the biggest size they used to have in South Africa that I can think of it. Like that size. That's
like when we go to Australia, same thing. They'd have those utes, like the station wagon looking things, and then like you'd see a truck, and they were like, "Oh, that's a big truck." I'm like, "No, that's the smallest
that's the biggest truck in town."
Exactly. So when I was shocked, man. I literally I was like, "What the hell?"
That's awesome.
And then I saw someone. Is it like called is it a 450 where it actually looks like a truck? You know what I'm talking about?
It looks like a Tonka truck.
No, it's like a 450 or something. Have you heard of a 450
that looks like the actual cab?
Yes,
of like
the cab.
a
Yes,
semi-truck? Yeah.
Man, I almost had a heart attack when I saw that. Dude walks out there.
Just driving down the road. Nobody did.
It was a black dude.
That's great.
I promise you. And I was like, and he had his country vibe on. He had the boots in Charlotte, man.
That's
Walked
awesome.
out of there. I was like, bro.
That's wild.
That was like that's why I even had a greater heart attack because I was laughing. He's like, "How you going?" I didn't say how you going. Whatever. Howdy or
You
whatever.
okay?
What's up?
Very country. I was like laughing my head off. I was like, dude, where did you get this thing?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, man.
Yeah, it's definitely the jacked up truck thing is definitely a U.S. thing. I've never seen it anywhere else.
My son now, he's 12 now. If you have your truck lifted too much, him and his friends make fun of you.
Really? Because you're compensating for something?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a funniest thing. He makes fun of this one dude. I won't say his name. That's now part of our life. And he looks down on him because he thinks that he's trying to be so cool by jacking up his truck and the tires are out just a little bit. And I think it's so funny because I think it's weird to do that, but like I feel like it skipped some generations because there was a time where that was so cool.
Well,
that's the coolest.
What's it when you lean?
Like the hydraulics?
No, when you lean it back like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like when you drop the back end?
Yeah,
he brought that up too.
What's that called? I don't know what that is.
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
It was
to
a
me.
thing. It definitely was a thing.
Oh, it's somehow back, and my son thinks that's dumb too.
Like when I had a Jeep in high school, and all my friends were into like four-wheeling and mudding or whatever. So we'd jack our trucks or Jeeps up to keep the body out of the mud. So like that was what we did on the weekends. We just went to this place called The Cut. And we tried to get our trucks and Jeeps stuck, and then we'd pull each other out. Like it was like a cultural, like a thing we did growing up.
I've been mudding. I've been when I first came here. My friend Gage.
Yeah.
Dude, shout out Gage.
Gage, wherever he is. Yeah. And I've done some country things out there.
Yeah.
Man, I love it. I mean,
it's fun. I mean,
you ever go hunting?
Not here, but I've been hunting. I love shooting. So.
Where would you go? Over?
No, I mean South Africa.
What did you kill there? What do you hunt?
No, it's a few buck, not like anything crazy.
Yeah.
Like you can shoot kudu, which is actually quite a big buck. Kudu.
Yeah.
You can do springbok. Eland. I don't know if you've heard of eland.
I mean, I just enjoy hunting, so I like watch all the hunting channel stuff when they go over to Africa and hunt over there. It's just
now it's become like growing up and stuff. When you'd go hunting, it wasn't you'd go on like a friend's farm. We call it just a farm because it's like their family farm. It's not like here, like, bro, it's ridiculous over here.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually had the opportunity to go, but I do definitely want to go.
Yeah.
And so when I first moved here, obviously, I was like, oh man, I couldn't own any guns yet.
Right.
Second, I got that green card. I was like, hey mate,
got some protection.
It's just fun, I think it's a one thing people like to go golf range or whatever. I think it's the one thing you do when you go shooting that where I think my mind just goes. You don't think about anything else. You just your brain's totally focused on safety and all that, but like without even trying.
Right.
And then I always leave the range or something. And you go, I didn't think about anything, anyone. My brain actually rested, and it's just like a relaxing thing, So
yeah, that's good. That is true.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm not like don't take my guns away, whatever.
Right.
Don't try though, I'm telling you. No, but it's fun, man. You know,
it's very American of you.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, you know, with your upbringing and seeing what you've seen. I mean, even hearing you tell those stories kind of at the beginning, just about just the straight up, like, legitimate racism that you experienced as a child, like, and then coming over here and then kind of experiencing, you know, what's been happening here in the last, you know, 5-10 years, just with the polarization and then division and everything. Having experienced what you experienced, and then, you know, you'll see people, you know, cry wolf, in my opinion, a lot of times, and like try to make something a race issue that isn't. Like, how do you kind of see that? And do you from your background, your perspective, I mean, obviously you've experienced it firsthand, and I'm sure some of these kids haven't ever experienced anything to that level. Like, how do you, when you talk to people about it, how do you kind of relate that?
It's like, I always take it back to, like, hey, when you talk to someone that grew up in the time when things legally were a certain way, their posture on things are very different to how things are now. You know what I mean? So they won't, like, they would bullshit you about the realities of what's going on here now. But what I will say from coming from South Africa is it's, I always say the laws change, but hearts take longer to change. And Nelson Mandela, you know, when he talks about it, says it's going to take a long time to rid people of hate. Yeah. And hate is something that's taught. Yeah. You don't grow up just hating someone or something. It's like it's instilled in you because of previous generations' experiences. Prejudice and that kind of stuff will be there because of people's perceptions. Right. You know, if you don't know anyone, what's the first thing you do when you meet someone? You look them down. Oh, what are they wearing? What are they? Oh, what are they like? Oh, you know, then you kind of in your brain without thinking, you've already
sized them up.
Yeah, put some kind of thing, what they're about or whatever. So now imagine that whatever you're looking at, your perception is negative all the time. You don't know the person, you don't know their upbringing. So sometimes, but you don't even try to do that. Right. It's in you. Yeah. You didn't put it there. You didn't even choose to put it there. You didn't wake up one morning saying, "Oh man, I want to." Right. No, and I think that's the one fallacy that I think everyone's kind of carried on in this world thinking. But you may not have put it in you, but it's your responsibility. Once you've realized that you carry something, to do the work. Yeah. And break the lies that are instilled in you. And so in South Africa, like 1990, Nelson Mandela, 28 years in prison, man. Believing that he could, I mean, just think 28 years, guys. Seems like an eternity. You know, like I want to change the world. You know, we all grow up, oh man, I want to, 28 years, you know, he was an attorney already. Yeah. When he went into prison, you know, involved, now 28 years in prison, believing that, hey man, I've got a calling. I want to bring this nation together. We call South Africa the Rainbow Nation, and that he wanted to bring the nation together. 28 years in a freaking cell the size of this and whatever. But then finally, he comes out of prison. What's the first thing he does? He doesn't choose hate. He takes a mandate that I want to bring people together. I want them to understand and it's not forget the past, because you can never do that. Learn from the past and build a nation together, you know. And so when he's head of security, his head of security was like the head of the former president's security, which is pretty much was in intelligence part of the, you know, so he did some pretty bad things, for sure. But not, and he kept the same team. And that guy today, I don't know if he's still alive, you know, would call Nelson Mandela, before he passed away, his dad. Like he started from the inside. And so, same thing with sport, man, with rugby. That's why rugby is such a big thing. It brought the nation together. So I'm not saying, it starts from the top, obviously. Right. People that say, hey, we're not going to say this stuff doesn't exist, but we're not going to weaponize it anymore. We're going to address things that they are, but we're going to speak that, hey, we want to build something that's together. Right. I'm not saying it's perfect. So I grew up in that era. Everything I've, worst things, and like I said, that, hey, it takes a lot of time. And so I don't hold a chip on my shoulder because a lot of people loved me whole that were different to me.
Yeah.
In the middle of other people hating me.
Right.
And so love always wins, bro. So now you come to America, and I'm seeing the state of America, and it's interesting, And like I said before, remember I said, hey, where you go, it's different.
Yeah.
I was in deep down Alabama some years ago, putting some gas in my car. And I was like, man, I better leave here before sundown. Not because I was assuming. No, I could
just to be
tell.
safe.
Just to be safe.
Sense it, I'm sure.
So, and those things don't make the news, and those kinds of things will never make the news. But a lot of things that do make the news, I think, don't be deceived by the political game.
Right.
Yeah.
And the propaganda, where things can be used to garner attention from you, to make you feel a certain way.
To divide us, for sure.
For other people's interests. Because I think one of the greatest things that we kind of really miss is like, in all of this, is like, your community is here, the people here. And remember, our brains are so focused on things that don't really actually affect our living and how we love each other and the reality of life that we're trying to build together. And we live on the phone and we take that narrative in, it changes our perception of our reality. Then that changes our perception of how we see each other.
Yeah.
And so I always say it's an and or. Yeah, things like that are happening. It's maybe not to the veracity, but can't negate that they're not there. And
Right.
But also know that the political arena is a different arena.
Yeah.
And those things will get used, But I think my dream and my hope is, a rainbow nation. When Nelson Mandela said a rainbow nation, that was the vision for South Africa. And it's not perfect. I'm not sitting here going, South Africa, bro, go look at the news. We struggle but that dream of a rainbow nation where people can love and appreciate their differences and learn and grow from each other and take on each other's cultures to become this one culture that is South African, but still hold on to their other cultures too.
Right.
And that's one thing in America, not to sound crazy, but I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, man, what's an American? And we couldn't really get down to the nitty gritty of like American culture. And I was like, why is that? Well, because we've been made to divide each other on that culture. What is it, and I think if we can work hard to those amazing things that we all love about each other. Just, you see it in music all the time. Let's go pop on some country music now. Do you see like a melting pot of something that's happening and you go,
100%.
no, it doesn't show color, but it shows vibe and this. And like, okay, that's what's happening now. If you look at music as like the metaphor, that's what America is.
Yeah.
And so we just have to now, that's actually what it is in life, how people dress. You see it. Like, it's like, as I'm thinking now, it's like, no, you see it.
Yeah.
It's all there, but for some weird reason, this bloody thing just F's everything up, you know, in some people's eyes, but they don't realize that, hey, you actually already homogenized.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the biggest thing, obviously, is the equality thing.
Yeah.
That's the money thing. It's got nothing to do with color right now. It's, and that can, so, I mean, to take anything away from, there's not my viewpoint.
Yeah.
Not sound like I'm freaking a hippie or whatever, but love is the only thing, man.
Yeah,
it is. Couldn't agree more.
That we need.
Yeah. Well, I think government, church, everything. I think everything is designed to divide us and make us focus on those little differences that you're talking about. But we're all, at the end of the day, just human beings, all created by the same intelligent, loving creator. And I think we're all just focused on the wrong stuff. And if we could just focus on, like you said, loving one another and treating others how we want to be treated, I mean, the world would be a much simpler, much, easier place to exist, in my opinion. But I think the way they make their money, they thrive off of the chaos. And, when we're in a chaotic state, how can we truly love one another? Because we're so focused on, okay, what can be taken away? What's this person want from me? What does this person need? And I think you become inhumane, and you don't give what you need to give to one another, and you don't treat other people the right way because you're scared that you don't even really know what you're scared of. Yeah. In all honesty, they just do such a good job spinning us up and turning us into these worker bees that are just so focused on just making our paycheck, keeping food on the table.
Bro, I'll sound like a conspiracy theorist, because if you want to go down that road,
I am an uber conspiracy theorist, but it's all by design, in my opinion. And the one thing that they're trying to combat is a cohesive, united people, because we are so much stronger together than we are separate. And I think they recognize that. And what's the biggest threat to their power is us realizing what they're doing and the power that they have assumed and taken, because nobody's fought back. And
that is the truth. But definitely information is power.
It is.
And I think that's one of the biggest things. Haven't you noticed, in America, you don't know anything about what's happening in the world except what's chosen to be told to you.
They curate and tell you is happening.
When I got you, that was one of the biggest things. I was like, man, I don't get any international real. I had to really go searching for it.
Yeah.
Everything in terms of even go watch the Olympics. What do you watch? Only what America's doing.
Right.
Not in a bad way. It's got nothing. It's a lot of things that are ingrained. Man, you may have to cut this stuff out the podcast, but propaganda is the nasty word.
Yeah.
And not. How do I say this in a sanitized way? Propaganda is not the worst word ever, but we have to realize that, hey, all the news you watch is propaganda.
Yeah.
To make you think a certain way for a certain reason
right?
that we don't know, for whatever time it is, and it just keeps perpetuating. The second, you don't want to revolt. You got to understand, powers don't want to revolt. They don't want everyone saying, hey, we fed up, everyone. No. So how do you do that? We've got an election coming up. What do we got to do? We need to cause some havoc, guys, because people need to vote either way. We can't have these guys realizing, crap, man, this gig's up. No, no, dude, the boys have a meeting and say we need to ruffle some feathers.
So true.
Every time.
So, but that is the world we live in. I think when you go down a spiritual part of it, which is actually the one place that's not supposed to operate like that.
Yeah.
But sadly does.
Sadly
sometimes is the church and the kingdom and that. And so, and all we can hold on to is honestly that you've awakened and seen this is man, walk in that love. Don't believe the lies. And talk honestly. I think we're having this conversation. A lot of people don't even want to talk like this because it's they're going to think, left or right, man. It doesn't matter left or right. It's hey, you're a person. Yeah, we're going to differ on our views and what we believe and what we think is right or whatever. But at the end of the day, doesn't mean I got to hate you.
Yeah.
Because you see the ball from a different perspective. But I'll share my perspective that maybe you'll be able to, okay, and learn and say, 100%. But I still don't. That's okay. Because we're all looking at the same ball.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And sometimes people they hide that side of the ball.
Yeah.
I think one of the worst things is haven't you noticed when something happens and someone says something about, they're on one side and they rough, okay, then something happens on the other side that their viewpoints that they used just gets used against them again. It's and you go, it's exact same viewpoints, but now he's going, no. I'm sitting there going
just from a different perspective.
I'm going, dang it, man, this is a freaking clown show, guys. Let's just tell the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I struggle with trying to be nice to Gators fans and Eagles fans, and it's really hard. And I'm growing, but every year but it's still really hard,
Now, I'm
That's
trying to figure
I'm
out
dealing with.
I mean, I've been a Panther supporter for a bit. My wife's a Seahawks
Oh yeah.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, she's from Seattle.
Hey, at least the Panthers made the playoffs this year.
Oh, dude, I
We have a
know.
little hope.
Seahawks are looking good though.
That, bro,
They're looking good.
we're looking all right. I think we got a good shot. But
I think so.
friggin'
Yeah, I really wanted to
Stafford
see.
may break our friggin' dreams, but I hope he doesn't. I hope so.
Yeah, if anyone could do it, it would be him. I wanted.
That's
to see,
what I'm scared
the
of.
Bears Seahawks. I thought that would have been good, but
Yeah.
Oh well. But even that, like, it's like we get so distracted by sports, and we're pitted against each other, and it's such a trivial thing. Yet it's people live and die by this code when it comes to sports and their fans and.
Yeah,
it's wild. It's a small. It's like a smaller microcosm of just like everything that's happening.
Man, I think you're hitting on something. I feel like it is. I think you're hitting on something that there's so many things that people are trying to divide us by, and they get amplified in times where they need to be amplified. Just like you're turning on your amp. But actually, it's like, hey, it's not really that hot.
Yeah.
There are issues. And those issues actually never get dealt with by those people. They just like to keep them ruffling a bit so they can just turn them up when they want to. Because they know if they'd leave them be, then people would realize, oh, hey, if we actually really solve the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like the media and the higher ups are like the front of house guy. You can have it totally nice volume on stage, but he gets to turn it up as loud as he wants.
Yeah,
and you can't leave stage and go tell him turn it down.
I know.
Interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, and I know it's kind of like, hey, if you play music or whatever, hey, don't talk about this. I'm like, hey man, we're all human, aren't we?
Yeah.
Our art is a reflection of who we are and how we live and what we're experiencing. I think if you believe in free speech, what other great way to express that in art? Look at the Sistine Chapel. Look at, it is that one thing, but I think what's beautiful about it being art, someone has an opportunity to take it in and have their own experience and judge it for how they experience it.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's always true, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think but it also allows for conversations to happen. Not in hate though.
Right.
But I think, like you said, we've had, being here for this long, I've seen a lot of things happen, and hey, I've been taken too, bro.
Yeah.
Hey man, I got taken by that moment there up in that moment up in before the last election. I definitely got taken by that one.
January 6th,
I was definitely America, man. After that one. No, not January 6th. No, the attempt.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then I've thought about it, and I was like, was that real? Did it happen? Because I don't know.
I don't know.
I know but meaning like it really, and I was like, if this is a movie that are we living in a freaking movie?
I know.
Yeah.
It feels that way a lot.
Because I was like, did it happen? Like, I don't know that year. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I was like, hey, are these guys that good that they can do that?
Yeah. And are we
And
that
I don't-
stupid that we believe it, or that we can't figure out if it's
There's
true or
the
not?
conspiracy
Like,
brain in me. Like,
to.
I'm not even judging the person. I'm going like, hey, man, if everything, the Truman Show, have you guys seen the Truman Show?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like,
It could be.
really?
Yeah, my question is,
But I was
were they
taken in the
really
moment.
smart enough to come up with that entire idea behind the Truman Show if it wasn't actually based on some form of
Something.
reality? I mean,
Yeah.
because we look at all these movies, we look at all the TV shows, like the script hasn't gotten really all that crazy. Like, so are they either, what I'm
Has
trying
to
to
be a
say,
form of
in the
reality.
sense that, like, maybe the reality that we actually are existing in is nothing like what we actually think it is, and we're created and designed in a way to where we are not able to perceive what that is. And
I don't
just
live
the idea of heaven and hell, like when you get deep into that, it's like everybody really has a different opinion of what that is, and if everything, even like art, is subjective, I mean, reality must be as well.
Well,
And,
looking at the word and stuff, who's the devil equated to? The great deceiver.
yeah.
The deception's been happening since the beginning of time. Now they just have different tools. Now, if we're all stuck on our phones, it's very easy for us to be deceived. We don't know what's real and not real anymore. And so I can definitely take that. Because at the end of the day, it's for someone else's purpose. The deceiver doesn't just deceive because whatever.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you don't
so
just deceive to deceive.
Yeah.
There's a goal.
some
There's
gain. Yeah.
You thought I was getting sandwiches earlier. I actually went to go charge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
There's secret charging portals over inside that urban brew house.
So you're an off-planet being then?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, man. But I think I've become a conspiracy theorist lately.
We are for sure.
Well, even like we're labeled conspiracy theorists,
Yeah.
but I would say I find myself just wanting to think critically. I want to ask questions, and when people tell me I shouldn't be asking questions, that's a problem for me because if the truth is out there and if they're being transparent, what's there to hide? Yet at every turn, it seems like, oh, you don't want to go here, you don't want to ask this question, you don't want to ask about the efficacy of a vaccine, you don't want to ask about, okay, we're all people. I have good friends I thought they were great because they were great to me my whole life, and then I see a different side of them later on, and it's like, okay, now I've seen that side of you, I'm going to treat you accordingly. Like our politicians aren't perfect, pastors aren't perfect, the people that are leading aren't perfect. We're all flawed, very corruptible human beings. So for us to think just because you're in a position of power that you're uncorruptible, you have the devil's at you from every single angle trying to corrupt you and get you to do his bidding. So like now we've been taught not to question because the authority has got everything taken care of. It's like, well, no, since the beginning of time, we're supposed to question those things, and now we're being told not to. So to me, that's just a big red flag. Like, okay, if you're hiding something, if you don't want me asking questions about it, and when we're seeing that in religion, in politics, in entertainment, in everything, it's like, okay, is this all just a big, deceiving just game that they're playing, and it's just we try to figure out where we fit into the game, and are we just worker bees to do their bidding? It's frustrating because it's hard to really live what I would consider a godly life and trying to do what's right. When I was talking to my dad about this last night, he was like, I was always told like to obey authority, and if I was following the rules, I was being a good Christian, I was respecting my elders and the people that came before me that put this in place. And he was like, now as a 65-year-old man trying to rewire my brain and rewire the way I think, and like, okay, if I want to treat depression with some mushrooms instead of using an SSRI, he's convinced himself that he's not going to be able to do that because it's illegal, and the legality of it is going to keep him from being able to make a decision that could potentially save himself from having to be on these drugs for the rest of his life. He's not even thinking about his wealth and his health and the good sides of it because of the politics and the legality of it. And I'm like, that's so backwards, but that's been so ingrained into him, which goes back to what you're saying, even with the race stuff. It's like once you're told something so many times over and over, it's really hard to break from that. And it's even like Soviet propaganda. They used to say, like, if you teach someone something or you say the same thing over and over and they hear it for 8 weeks straight, doesn't matter what type of proof that you put in front of them that was not true, there's a certain part of their psyche that will never be able to let go of the fact that they believe that wholeheartedly.
Dude, I went on a deep 2-hour deep dive into the Holocaust and the people that actually worked it this week. Did I send you a screenshot?
Oh, man, you're getting deep now.
I went real deep into it, though, about why, and this goes on what you said, because I was like, why have no one that worked at the prison ever, there's no like memoirs of them really ever, thousands of troops, and every single one that has written about it has been like, yeah, but I wasn't a part of the gas chambers. I wasn't. Every single one. I was like, there's no, and I even looked, I was like, what about deathbed confessionals? Nope. To the end, they still denied a part of that genocide. It was like, it's wild. I mean, I did this for like 2 hours. Like, oh
man, you getting down.
Wild. It was good times.
Well, there's people that have done it for thousands of hours.
I
know the same exact
but I'm
questions,
saying,
and they haven't found anything.
I don't know
either.
if I'm allowed to breach on this one.
Please do. Please do.
No, but I was saying it's like it's ingrained in their head, and they probably at some point were like, nope, no matter what, you're not. Like they, and even as bad as the things they did that they even admitted, they're like, but none of them were like, well, I was bad, but I didn't do that.
Dude,
I never saw that. Well, okay, dude.
Like, it's so, because
they had it, they were just ingrained in their head, like you said, so many times you start to believe it.
There's so much. Well, like you said, like we don't know what's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not denying.
Yeah.
I'm not denying the Holocaust.
No, I wasn't either.
No, but it makes you question. It's like, why can't we ask questions?
We can ask questions.
Like, and I'm not saying like what I know of it is one of the most horrific things if it happened that way, I don't know. And even me asking that question, I'm going to be labeled as something that I am not. But I wonder, okay, why is the history so one-sided? Why is it, I mean, to the victor goes the pen in every war, in every situation. So historically, who's writing the history? The guy that won. So if he barely scraped by the skin of his teeth and won this battle, and maybe like he was on the brink of extinction, like, but he wrote it in a way like, oh, we massacred them and this happened and this happened. Well, that's what we believe is true.
Well, yeah.
And to clarify, I was saying that's because they were taught, like, you're not going to say, like you said, like, you don't say anything, and they kept their mouth shut all the way to the end, and there's like hardly any. That was the point I was making. I wasn't.
But then my conspiracy mind.
You got
my conspiracy mind goes to asking
like
the question.
Like he's shaking his head because he's like, don't get him talking on this. I've done some research too, by the way, and you know.
Oh, you're saying, okay, well, they were conditioned to say this thing about it, and then I'm sitting here thinking, okay, did that actually even happen?
And you're going like, man, well, but I was like, no, I'm not saying it.
So I was just saying that because
they're watching.
Yeah, that's a rabbit.
Who's they? I was like, you know who you are.
Yeah, you know.
Families. Bloodlines, we know who you are.
You know, you're like,
we just don't know who you are.
This is off topic, but I don't want to run out of time. What was like your big, like, oh, I might be able to make, what was your break though? Like, cause like, what made you move to North Carolina? You said a job, but that wasn't even music related, or
church,
that was the job.
Right?
I just heard the word job.
Yeah,
so,
church.
And then, but how did you like become?
So you were leading worship in South Africa, yes?
I was in Australia. I was actually part of Hillsong for a bit too.
That's right.
So yeah, no man, I after high school, you know, rugby was it, you know, and all of that stuff, and then injuries and all that, and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? Mm-hmm. You know, can't afford to go to college or anything like that. My marks didn't really look great either. I always feel like I always say, man, I feel like I always say to myself, man, you must be on the spectrum or something, or something odd, because it was always so hard for me to
most
study.
Most musicians like us are a little bit.
So weird. It was the hardest thing for me to like just. I always say, man, I scraped through science just because I did well in physics, chemistry. I could not remember the periodic table to save my bloody life.
No.
I failed chemistry so bad that I didn't know. Oh, those equations. I still think about that. I think I just wrote my name on the test and just like.
The only reason I was good at chemistry is because my dad was a chemical engineer, and I didn't care about anything else in school, but I didn't want him to think I was an idiot, and I wanted to like be his equal.
Really make him proud.
So like I just studied chemistry like hardcore, and he was like, "Why are you doing good in math or history or anything else?" I was like, "I don't have time. I'm just focused on."
Yeah, I'm
horrible at it.
Lord.
I was good at geometry. That was about it.
But
sorry to interrupt.
Ended up going to Bible college, which is really random too.
Where at?
In South Africa.
Okay.
A church called RIAA Bible Church. And in the day, which is also, man, my life was really interesting. So I went to RIAA because on TV, I saw this like black guy or mixed guy leading worship for the first time. They used to, very massive church, 30,000 people or whatever.
Dang.
It's like a 7,000 seat auditorium. And in the day, it was like one of the biggest churches in the Southern Hemisphere. There's like before Hillsong Church was a thing and whatever. And when I, thought Bible college, I was like, I remember seeing this. And in high school, I kind of had my wayward thing, you playing sports, you stuffing around, whatever, you're doing your thing. But I'd go to Christian, SCA we call it, Student Christian Association, after we called it bunking out. So I went to all boys boarding school.
Wow.
So we'd bunk out. Like bunking out is like, breaking out to go out and stuff.
Right. Okay.
Go hit the college places and whatever. And, and then Sunday night, go to Student Christian Association and, pay penance or whatever. Ask for forgiveness.
Like going to confessional and Catholic?
Yeah. No, but, so that was, but I love God, man. I think I never lost my faith because, I think growing up in Africa and me growing up, it was like, hey, if God doesn't show up, there's nothing else for you. And so I grew up in like, in the poverty and all that stuff where it's like, I need the groceries or like, God, we don't have food, last food, mums, So the reality of that God is going to provide from that spiritual experience, I'd like to say, of like growing up in faith, like Africa's really rich in that. And also believe in ancestry and like that you can speak to your ancestors, which may be blasphemous to some people, but I mean like that everything's connected. There's no time lapse. So that's like a real, you know, and I think connecting to the spiritual, to people that maybe don't understand, I say it's an ethereal kind of thing. So you know what I mean? Like when you go deep into yourself, like when you're praying or whatever, when you're meditating, where you get these moments where like you sense something
greater than yourself.
There we go. And so even in those times where people say, oh, you're so far from God or whatever, no, because he's protected me all along. The dumb things that I did in high school, you know, he protected me there, whatever. But so then you say, how does this kid end up in in Bible college, at this Bible college, when, you know, he's like playing sports and, you know, all that kind of stuff and playing music a bit. But, you know, went to like, we call it matric. Like matric is like your last year of high school. Mm-hmm. So you go on like matric holiday after high school where, you know, you go and like
your senior trip kind of thing.
Yeah, like after school's finished and stuff. Yeah, and you go party hard. Yeah, man. Yeah. So you do all that and whatever, and, you know, I'm sitting on the beach there. I didn't sleep that night, and, you know, I started crying on the beach, and I like, what am I going to do with my life? And I just, for some weird reason, I was like, the thought, you need to go to Bible college, go to RIAA. Okay. Go figure out how to do it. Don't have money to do it. My mother at the time is working in Saudi Arabia.
Whoa.
In Jeddah. She was midwife. So I get back and like trying to figure this out. You know, she's like, well, I can only pay for this or whatever. You're going to have to figure things out or whatever. So for one semester, she could only pay for moving to a different city, moved to Johannesburg. So we get to RIAA now. Big city, all that stuff. And yeah, I'm just a dumb kid in the back, doesn't know anyone, no car, nothing. I like rent this tiny room, have a little mat. I'm literally sleeping on a mat, dude, in this room.
Wow.
Nothing else in the room, just my bag. And like, it's like a house, like 4 people. And yeah, man, just trust God and let's see what happens. And so I did 3 years there. But miracles, man. Someone paid for my college.
Wow.
You know, there been times where I didn't have food and like groceries get dropped. So in the grand scheme of things, I think no one can take away my faith from me.
Yeah.
No one can. You know, whether people can judge me like, oh, you like this or you believe this or whatever, but I know what I know to be true, not only through my experience, but also seeing the outworking power of that through me and experiencing it. No one can take that away from me. People can try to shape it into what they want to, but at the end of the day, they weren't there in the suffering times when you're alone and in your heart you felt a sense of peace that can't be replaced by someone's doctrinal whatever, this is what you have to believe, or you got to oh well, this is, don't do this, don't do that, because it's more gray than that. Because when the rubber hits the road, when no one else is there and you're staring down a barrel, that preacher ain't gonna, he's not gonna be there. He's gonna be out, I don't know, doing whatever he does. And so so I went through that. But people, and then the Bible college, somehow ended up at Sydney, Australia. Another weird story. But I had this saying, or people want to call it a word or whatever they want to say. But I always say those thoughts, some weird thoughts come to me. I'm like, that's definitely not me, because I don't even speak like that. Align yourself with the forerunners and the people that are doing the things in your heart. When I was like, what am I going to do now? And I was like, so the, Hillsong Church was, well, I was like, man, I need to learn. And then, okay. Then someone from there came over to South Africa, and he came to preach, and he wanted to go to a soccer game. heart of Johannesburg. Someone called me up, hey man, can you run security for him and you're gonna take him down here? It's like, yeah, I'll look after him. It's Orlando Stadium is like deep in Johannesburg. Go look up the stats of like the most dangerous cities in the world. You'll have a good time.
That one's up there.
I think the top 8, South Africa has 3 of them.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, but anyway, so we go out there, and Chris Mendes, and he, you know, during the damn game, lights go out.
Oh my god.
The whole stadium dark, bro.
Wow.
And they call it load shedding.
Right.
And anyway, and he's getting, I'm like, hey, we got to go now because we're not in it, you know. So, but anyway, so that started our relationship, and he's like, hey man, you got to come out to Sydney. I was like, man, I don't have money. He's like, well, we'll figure something out. Well, I don't know. Didn't actually talk to him for ages, but you know, I was really young and really filled with faith in that where you like, well, I'm just gonna pray about it.
Yeah.
I believed. I mean, like to this day, I keep thinking to myself, why don't I have that same kind of belief that things can happen? But I was like, hey God, you know, if you really want me to go to Australia, because that's where I want to go. Like, can you just make it happen? I know it's impossible. I couldn't earn that money in a year to get a plane ticket. Yeah. It's impossible. So I'll just leave it in your hands. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's okay too. You know, let that thing go. But it happened. Someone just came and said, hey man, I heard someone told me that, man, you really, it's like, here you go, that's how much you need. Wow. Boom. So that happened.
It's incredible. You
know, and then spent some time there, came back, and then I was deciding to go to college there again. And same kind of thing happened, dude. The head of Sony BMG called me randomly. South Africa. Africa. I'm like a 19-year-old kid, because he used to go to the church. And he's like, hey man, I don't know what it is, but this Sunday, I just felt in my heart that like there's something you need and I need to help you with it. Like, what's going on? It's like, well, I really want to go to college. I don't really, I want to finish my studies here. And like, he's like, okay, no man. I thought he was going to try to give me a deal or something. And I'm now looking back, I'm like, dude, frick, I should have taken the deal, man. But yeah. And I told everyone, I'm leaving January 15th. I'm moving to Sydney. Everyone's laughing at me like this dumb kid doesn't know anything because they've lived life, Don't go to the naysayers when you've got something in your heart, a dream. Yeah. Because they'll break it down real quick. Real quick. They'll, and probably so, rightfully so, because life doesn't go like that. Yeah. But I believed. And I think somewhere along the line, I may have stopped believing, but I want to go back to that belief. Because January 15th, I was on that plane. Yeah. I was in Australia, January 15th. December 25th, I got a random call from that dude. I hadn't talked to him in 6 months. Hey man, I'm depositing the money into account, paid for college. And a friend of mine was an air hostess. And she's like, hey, I heard you needed a flight. I'd never even talked to this person that went to the church. Like, well, here you go. She booked it for me January 15th. I left January 15th, man. So there've been moments like that in my life where I cannot deny the fact that there is, people may want to call it the power of belief. I call it faith. Yeah. And it leaves you, goes outside of you, and people like to say, manifestation and stuff like that, but I think put whatever language you want to put on it. Whether you want to call him God, he is who he is. If he is a he, it is what it is. The creator is the creator. And when your heart is set on this great thing that we cannot understand, but we really try to understand it because of this book that's been translated hundreds of years by human beings, and they've told you what it's supposed to be and how you're supposed to operate. But the only true way that you really know is through your own experience. Yeah. And so, just like a father deals differently with his sons and daughters and how he treats them, I feel like if we can operate like that, can't this amazing creator operate a little bit differently? Yeah. in any way. And if he has more grace than I have, I think the black and white of how people see things goes real gray real quick.
Yeah, amen.
But that's my own notion. May sound blasphemous, but it's
I
covered
think
in love, and I think love
refreshing.
is a little greater.
I think because of the place it comes from is why it's refreshing to me, because you can see that you believe what you believe because of the way God has shown up repeatedly in your life, and it seems to me that he continues to show up because of your belief in your faith that he will. And I think even when you say, maybe I've gotten to a place of unbelief or not believing and having that same type of faith, I mean, I think in different seasons of life, that's only natural. And I believe there are times that, you know, we will be given, you know, whatever it is that our heart desires, if it makes sense and it's part of God's plan. And sometimes those things align, and other times what we want does not align with his plan. And I think having the presence of mind to know and be able to differentiate between the two. But one major thing I took from everything you just said is trust in your gut and your intuition. And I think that faith in your gut and your intuition are one and the same to me. And I find that whenever I follow my gut, whenever I do what I feel is right, not necessarily what the news is telling me or what this modern day version of Christianity is, if I follow my gut and I do what I know is right and what feels right, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to good versus evil. And we've conflated everything. We've made it so confusing to where, you know, people are nitpicking and getting in the weeds. Well, is this a sin? Is this aspect of this a sin? I'm like, I think we know in our heart of hearts when something's wrong and something's right. And we can tell. And sometimes we make a conscious decision to do what's not right because we think it's going to benefit us in the moment, or we need to lie, or we need to cheat and steal in order to protect what we think we've built for ourselves. And
we get deceived by that.
If we are honest with ourselves and just see it for what it is, I mean, I think it is so much simpler than we've made it. And even Christianity has become so complicated, and there's so many rules. It's so legalistic these days. And I mean, I say that to kind of get to this also, like, you know, I know you were a big part of Elevation Worship, and I think when I listen to your songs in particular that you were a part of writing, and your music, your faith comes out in a different way than a lot of the other music and, you know, Christian music that I've listened to. And I think now talking to you and hearing your childhood and your experiences and your story, it makes sense now. Like the emotion that I hear in your voice when you sing, it's because you've lived it, and you've lived a life that many people haven't. And I guess I say that to say thank you for sharing your authenticity in your music, because it's definitely, you know, something that I've always felt, but I didn't necessarily know the backstory behind it. And just, I mean, it makes me a bigger fan. It also just, it inspires me. So I appreciate your honesty and just being able to share your story and what you've been through and how that's manifested itself in your art and what it is that you do and how you create. Man,
thank you so much, bro.
So now you're on Curb Records. You got a new record out. It came out in December.
Yeah.
How is that, you know, being a part of, you know, different worship teams and doing the, you know, just the team-led ministry type stuff.
Yeah.
Going from that and having, you know, a group of people that are constantly surrounding you, you know, you're bouncing ideas off of stuff. And right now you're more of a solo artist doing it yourself and on your own. What's the transition into that been like?
Man, I went through, like, you know, quite a hard time, like after, like, just church and everything. And so I'm 5 years sober at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's been like the greatest gift I've ever received in my life.
10.5 years.
Yeah. 10.5?
10.5.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So I'll say it's the second greatest gift after my wife that I've received in my life. And people always say, hey, man, what church do you go to? I always go like, hey, if you go in the yellow pages, just go to A and you'll find it right there after A, you know.
Friend of Bill.
Yeah, you know, it's right there somewhere. But I always say, like, I had an awakening, and I had and it's almost like one day you think, oh man, everything's fine. I'm not harming myself. I'm not harming anybody. Oh yeah, you know this. But I didn't realize in my life that this thing, whatever, for some people, it's alcohol, whatever, put whatever it is on it. Let's, for lack of a better word, say sin. This very thing that I'd run to find peace, to escape. And for a while, yeah, it worked when stress is upon you or whatever. It's like, you know, you want to go chill at the bar, the friends have it. that very thing after some time became the thing that started to destroy me, you know, and I didn't realize that. And the awakening moment just, I didn't ask for it. And I always say that's the miracle. The miracle is when you can literally for the first time look at yourself in the mirror and see who you actually truly are and what is truly destroying you. And hey, it's almost like a movie gets played out in that moment and you cannot unsee it. You know, when you wake up in the morning, you can't just, okay, I'm just going to go back to bed now. You like wake up from a fright or whatever. It's like, okay, I'm just going to, no, you can't do that. Something's changed. Your whole, everything about how you cannot just let that go. And so I called a friend of mine, Daniel Bashter.
Shout out, Daniel.
Yeah, Dan. Great. I haven't talked to him in a while. So, but I was like, hey man, I think I need to probably stop drinking or whatever. He's like, you sure, man? I don't know. You're not that bad. I was like, well, maybe keep on drinking a bit more and we'll see. He was 2 years sober at this time. But he said, hey, go read this book called Breathing Underwater by, I think, Richard Rohr. Is that his name? And
I've heard of the book. I've not read it. But.
Yeah, it's a great book. And then he said, hey, well, why don't you also just go to this place? Yeah, there's a meeting there. You'll find a friend of Bob over there and he'll have a chat with you and like and I was like, okay, cool. But and he'd check on me, you know, and that was the journey of learning how to breathe underwater, to walk and actually start feeling again.
Yeah.
And not running to the things of this world because I'm starting to become whole. I think as men and stuff, we find it really hard to really go there because we think we're supposed to grit it out.
Yeah.
Your willpower can only take you that far.
Yeah.
You need a different kind of power to actually empower you to live this life. And for all the church folk there that believe that grace is just the forgiveness of sin, you're forgetting that it's actually the empowerment to live it out.
Wow.
So I think that was the component in my life where I didn't really, been in church since I was 6 or whatever. Oh yeah, Bible thumper.
Yeah.
But when life hits you, you got no answers, man.
Yeah.
And then what do? You try to solve it with things.
Yeah.
Some people shopping and whatever it is. But at some point, I always say your past catches up with your present. There's a moment that happens, and you realize, hey, this, and that's the beauty of it. I feel like, for some people, they always say like, oh man, you ready to surrender? I'll just surrender. How do you actually surrender?
Yeah.
Someone pulls out a gun, puts it to your head right now. What's the first thing you do?
Don't kill me. Don't shoot me.
Yeah, don't. And what's that gun? That gun for me is a metaphor for not just sin, but my mess, my pain, the struggles, the things that were done to me, the things I've done, the shame, all that stuff in life that you've had to carry. That's the gun. And when I lift up my hands and surrender, I was like, I need help. God shows up and he rescues me. That's my image of grace. And then he doesn't just leave you there, he walks with you. And so coming out of my struggles through the church and finding that, and it was like, okay, well, I'm trying to write an album now. And so I'm going through the sobriety thing, and like, it's like you're smelling the grass is greener, it's smelling differently. So there are no more rules about this is how it's supposed to sound.
Right.
This is what is sacred. No, what is sacred? There's no rules in what is sacred. It's what is sacred to me, because whoever created sound and music didn't put a label on it that it has to sound like this to be sacred.
Yeah.
I always say, like, people read the Bible and it says like, well, God spoke the world into being. I'll say, yeah, what language did he speak it in? No, but one thing I do know is that there was a frequency of sound that reverberated. and something happened light. And people always say like, oh man, that's devil's music, that's whatever. Like, yeah, well, who was Lucifer? Oh, chief what? Oh, worship leader in heaven, music. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, and then Psalm 150 talks about let's praise God with the cymbals and the lyre and all these different sounds and sonics and stuff. Okay. And I was just thinking in my head, I was like, sound and music was always created, obviously to glorify God, but it also changes us in the process. There's power in it. Music's a really powerful thing. Yeah. And so when it comes to church and liturgy, it's almost like, well, this is the sound. It's like at some point, like in the last, 15, 20 years, they realized if you play a pad in like whatever, 85 hertz frequencies, like people, like, oh yeah, but now let's keep it going. We don't want to change it. Like, well, the monks have done that for hundreds of years. But,
yeah, exactly.
But so the power of music's always been there, man. But its purpose has always changed.
Yeah.
You go to a country concert, people want to have a good time or whatever, but joy is still joy. Peace is still peace. Love is still love. And music embodies that.
Yeah.
I put lyrics on it, that just means we're putting understanding on it. If I speak to you in Afrikaans, I say, vanuit praat in Afrikaans, jy weet nie wat ek sê nie hoor. It sounds like what? It's literally just melodies, timbre, in different rhythms.
Right.
If you speak an Asian language, the timbre is here. Hey, yeah, nia, different timbre, different rhythmic. It's just sounds.
Yeah.
But now when we put literature, you understand what someone's trying to communicate.
Yeah.
And so now you take music, for instance, it's like, hey, whatever, take it in disco time. And it's all written. So, but that can still be sacred. So for me, coming into this record, I was thinking back to, man, when I was a kid in Africa and, in the rural areas when I go visit my grandparents and like the drums and like there was this, it moved me. That's sacred to me, the rhythms. Oh man, these sounds. Okay, and growing up, in my head, I was thinking about trips with my dad and listening to like some Michael Bolton ballads, and I was like, wow, man, that's sacred to me, that special moment. I've never had that experience with my dad since I was like, I haven't talked to him in 20 years or whatever. And these moments, I remember when I was a kid, when I walked into church and I saw this old man on an organ, and I don't know what it did to me. I don't know God then. I was a young kid, but for some reason I was just like, that sound. He was, and so when I came into this record, I was like, hey, all those sounds that you've heard in your life that inspired you, they're sacred to you. You need to figure out a way to, just like, was it Leonardo da Vinci painted the Sistine Chapel, if I'm correct. That's sacred. And hopefully at some point someone will connect with that, with the pain in the song, with whatever, but music part of it was really sacred to me. And so I use that word because I feel like we're told that, well, it has to sound like this and it's for this purpose and whatever. And I'm like, no, man, music is a beautiful thing. And however people choose to use it, yeah, cool. But it doesn't make it less sacred. I think my greatest desire is that there's a song on there called Broken Forever that I wrote for my stepdaughter, who was going through a really hard time when she was 12. And, just some body stuff. And, TikTok's like kind of really crazy. And it was like a dark time. There was a time in TikTok where this whole suicide thing was, I can't say the word, sorry. Yeah. But, so we had a hard time. And I wrote the song with Michael Farron. Broken forever is the paradox that you won't be broken forever. Wow. But you're going to have to go through this. And maybe some of these things you may have to carry for the rest of your life. But if your perspective on it is that it's not going to be forever, there is a time where it's going to fall away and you'll experience the beauty, but see it for what it is now and garnish the strength in this moment. Because it's not just for you. It's for those that are going to need what you went through. And I think in life, and the pain that we've gone through and whatever we've experienced in our lives, and it's not just for us. And so in South Africa, we have a word called Ubuntu. And basically it just means like, I am because you are.
Wow.
And so I think if whether the Christian music industry or everyone that would create from that place of their experience with God, I feel like you get some of the most amazing music that we've ever experienced because they've tapped into that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm scared to say this, man, and I feel like sometimes that people in the secular realm have tapped into it more than, because they're always like, man, what's that sound? They're always like, what's that sound? Why? That sound moved them.
Right.
We've almost like forgotten what it feels like to hear something that just, it hits you, that it goes past your body, mind, and spirit at the same time. Not just because we're having a spiritual experience because we've taught that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's opera or whatever it is, you know, you can go. And so I'm not trying to change the sound of the landscape of what Christian music. I don't believe that there's Christian music or non-Christian music. I believe that whoever's painting their artwork and whatever message, it's sacred, you know. And so I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful just to experience and grow in the journey. And like, I don't know, I just love listening to different things, man. I do love country a little bit. When I say a little bit, I play a lot of guitar, so I gotta love it.
Well, I love the storytelling in country music. Like, you know, there's a lot of just happy-go-lucky songs that are out there that make you feel something, just like we've been talking about. The sonic composition of it, it does something. And, you know, there are certain frequencies that are, you know, more pleasing than others. But, you know, I think the storytelling and the art of going deep and telling a story.
I always go like, I go
country.
to the deep cuts. I try to find something, you know, I think, and that's what I think what does make country, like you said, people just become honest.
Yeah.
And I think the more we can do that in how we create art, not everyone's going to like it, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's the truest form of like a reflection of you. Boom. Yeah. And when people really love it, bro, it's something special. Yeah. You know, whoever thought Bob Dylan in the day would friggin' become Bob Dylan when they just like, who the heck is this guy?
We named our band Love and Theft is a Bob Dylan album. Actually.
Oh,
dude.
dude.
We named it after that.
You know, yes. When I got introduced to Bob Dylan that's the first one I met him. I said, just chill, take it in, and you'll experience something. That's cool. I was like, boom, you know. And I think that's the beauty of it. We like judging things based on what we've heard before, instead of experience it for what it is.
Yeah, I learned at a very young age just the power of music, because you know you're in church, you're in worship service, and that's, you know, altar call, that pad at, you know, 80, 85 hertz, rumbling. It's
I love good altar call though, man.
Hey, man,
those are good times.
But even that's like let's say we're all singing like "Holy is the Lord," for example. Like, you know, it's a beautiful song, the chorus is amazing. You know, you get an entire room full of people singing that song at the same time. You hit a certain frequency and you feel something that energy, and something happens in the room. And we're like, oh, well, the Holy Spirit met us here today. And I'm like, okay, that's the only time he came in there is when we were all singing that exact note. And that, like,
I've always been there.
Like, no, he's always there. He is there. And when we are together, and the idea of church and community, that's what that is. And when you start looking at it like that, like-minded individuals, that, I mean, like, we're more powerful together than we are apart. And
man,
you know, that's back to the division thing. It's like, if we could get past the legalism, get past the, oh, I had a worse week than you did, and realize we're all just people fighting different battles on a daily basis. And we're starved and desperate for community, and those moments feel like that for a reason, because we were meant to be that. And we've now combined that with tithing and, you know, the light show and all this, which is it's all great, and it's augmenting what's there, but it's really, I feel like, distracting us from the true
people
purpose
want
of all
experience. And I think that's probably, like you said, like, people have this experience in the sound, and then your brain says that is the only sound I can experience it in. But we've been trained. It's like the Holy Spirit's always been there. God's always there. But I always say to myself, like, there comes a moment, I don't know if you've been alone somewhere and you're like, I don't know, whether you're praying or meditating or something, and like things are happening or whatever, but then in the moment, the room changes.
Mm-hmm.
What changed in that moment? No, something changed in my body. Something changed my mind. Like I got out the way.
Mm-hmm.
So when we all come together and we're singing and all that's happening, like we get out the way.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about tomorrow's problems. You're not thinking about I got to go do this. But that's the one moment I can just say, hey, I want. So it equates to why that is like.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can have that very same moment listening to an Adele song.
Agreed.
Why is that? Because you got out the way.
Yeah.
And if I can just live my life where hey, let me just get out the way. When things are about, when things start to happen, I'm pissed off, whatever. If I can just learn, just pause, steady the mind, steady the body, just pause, man. And all these things we're talking about, they're in the Bible.
There.
They're in the Bible. I'm not speaking blasphemy here,
No.
But
even that's something that I hate about the church and just Christians in general. It's like they have their slice of the pie and they don't like to see things outside of it. But like you were talking about earlier, we're all victims of circumstances, our upbringing, and different things that have happened to all of us. And I think there's space for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of God, and that's the beauty of Christianity in its purest form. And I think we've perverted that as humans and tried to take something that is perfect that we really are incapable of understanding, and we've tried to personify that and turn God into something that looks a lot like us. And I think that's
scary.
Really scary, because I don't think we're designed to be able to understand what God truly is. I think we're able to perceive, and we're designed, I believe, with an innate, divine spark within us. And I think that's what separates humanity from everything else. But, I think we've complicated it.
Do you feel like in your heart, like with everything you've kind of experienced, church, music, the one thing that hasn't changed, that desire to make a difference hasn't left. Yeah. Even with like, wow, I want to support my family, I want to do all these things, but that desire, for some reason, something put it in you that you still want it. Not you want to be a good guy. Not I want to be that lives will be changed through whatever you do, but like not in the change lives. Right. No, that you really make a difference somehow.
Just by being and existing.
That whatever you do leaves a ripple effect.
Yes, 100%.
When you're gone, kind of thing. And that
was a hard thing for me to reconcile with, because as music's, like, we've had lots of success, we've had peaks and valleys, and it's like during those valleys it's like it's hard to maintain positivity, because in my mind my message was always going to come through the music. And when you don't have that vehicle to deliver that, it's like, okay, where does your self-worth,
what's my worth?
Where, like, what my identity is found in that. So now it's like, well, no, I have to just live my life in a way, like you said, where there is a ripple effect. And any conversation I have, a hand that I shake, a kind word that I might leave with a guy at the convenience store when I'm getting a drink before I leave, like, you never know what could save someone's life. That guy could have been thinking about getting in his car and, killing himself on his way home or something, because and your one kind word, or your, just asking him how his day was, could have changed that. Yeah. And maybe that was your purpose, and that was the reason you were put here on earth, was for that moment.
And that was it. That could be it.
That can make you feel really insignificant, can make you feel super significant. But then in the grand scheme of things, it's like we're all just ripples in the ocean, or here for a blink, and our existence is to glorify God and the creator of all of it.
And that's it.
That's really what it comes down to.
And if you tithe more, God hooks you up.
Yeah.
Oh man,
the more you tithe, better.
You got to tithe, man.
Better your influences.
Give that 10% plus. Oh lordy,
man.
Hey man, the church business is real.
It is.
My dad's a preacher.
Is he?
Yeah. So I mean, and my grandfather was a preacher too. So it's like I've grown up seeing it. Seeing different perspectives, talking to his dad for hours. My dad experienced a different side of it, being just on really the worship side of ministry. And, the church destroyed my family. It really did. Yeah. And I know so many people that have the same story, and it's a lot of people, it's turned them off to God and just spirituality in general. It's like, in my case, it drove me closer to God, and it caused me to seek out something that was different than this structure and this construct that I had been in my entire life.
Probably took you a while though. You probably had.
Oh, it's taken me my whole life, and it's
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm now just barely scratching the surface, even though I've been after it for
But that's
20 years.
Yeah, I feel like that's the journey. That it has to be the journey because, I mean, when someone like the structure, like here's a structure, it's in this church, or this is how you're gonna. It's like I don't know what do you call it. I don't know, Ponzi scheme-ish.
Yeah.
Ponzi, you know,
Yeah,
have you
totally.
ever been given the Amway?
Oh yeah.
And you think that, hey
Yes.
man, you're gonna get this business, and you just gotta da da da,
Yep.
and it's like, hey, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
we're all different people going through different things.
I was a travel agent in one of those before under Mike Allstock, greatest fullback of all time.
But like even on the tithing thing, what I think not what hurts me is that we miss the greatest thing, which is generosity,
Yeah.
which embodies who God is.
Yeah.
And we bring it down to this legalistic thing called tithing when generosity is so much greater.
Yeah.
And so I always say, man, when someone says, hey, man, just frame everything in love. People think, oh, love, love, love. Loving is hard.
Yeah.
How do you love the things you hate or people? How do you, it's a lot more work. And so, but we break it down to, oh man, they're living in sin, leave them. Because that's easier in our humanity.
Yeah.
And so I always go like, people will mock the tree huggers, right? But I go, yeah, the tree huggers are onto something because they've had to become less self and die.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always interesting because that's why that's the paradox of everything. The thing that we think is so easy, like no, loving is not. It's not easy.
Especially Eagles fans.
Oh, dude, come on, bring it on.
Yeah. And you're right. We're taught that when things are perfect, when a relationship is perfect, it should be easy. And this love that you feel, it just should be effortless.
Even when you say the word
such
feel,
a lie.
love that you feel. Do you always feel like you love? I don't know. Like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because I want to get in trouble when I get back home. But you know, I mean, like the things that you're supposed to love, like in the moment, do you actually feel that love all the time or whatever, how people think what love is? But no, there's commitment, there's these greater sacrifice, there's all these things when, can you love someone when they don't even love themselves and love them whole? Which means you need to love even more when you're not even, you know, it's all gray. When do you protect your own self and say, hey, that's it? When do you, when someone tells you, well, they can't because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all I do know is that love is always going to cost you something. And sometimes you don't have the money in the bank to cash the check, and that's okay.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I think that's a perfect place to end this.
Yeah, that's great.
What
Man.
an inspiring conversation, man. Thank you for your honesty and sharing with us. I mean, I'll be honest, I needed to hear that today. I mean, I think so often I dream up this crazy idea of what love is in my own head. And like what you just said, it's like love requires sacrifice. You have to give up certain things when you're truly loving somebody, and even being vulnerable enough to love so recklessly that you're opening yourself up to the ultimate hurt and the ultimate betrayal and that's an inspiring thing just to listen to you say. I hear that in your music, I hear it in the way you talk, and it's obvious that you live your life by that mantra, and what you see is what you get with you. So thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your time, and
thank you, brothers.
Looking forward to watching the rest of your career and see where it takes you, and continue to make incredible music, because it's definitely working in the hearts of people everywhere, and especially in mine. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Matthews Ntlele, everybody.
You gotta go check out his music, man.
Appreciate y'all.